What if you could control a robot arm using plain English? Hi everyone, welcome back to Cyberwave. My name is Khushi, and in this tutorial, we're going to build a voice and vision powered physical AI agent with SO101 robotic arms and Cyberwave. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Here is the basic idea. The user gives a natural language command. A VLM like Claude understands the instruction and generates a structured motion plan. Cyberwave then sends these actions directly to either the digital twin in simulation or the robot arm directly. Phase 1 of developing this agent starts from setting up the Cyberwave environment. So we are on the Cyberwave dashboard. Let's create a new environment. Let's add a SO101 digital twin from the catalog. Now we also have another USB camera in the physical environment. So let's add that. It's the Logitech C920. This is the exact webcam that I'm using for the vision sensor. So I'm just going to add it to the environment as well. And that's it. We have added both our digital twins. Phase 2 of building this agent focuses on developing the Python application that powers the entire agentic loop and its core features. So let's build that next. We'll be using the Cyberwave Python SDK to remotely operate the robotic arm and execute actions based on the motion plan generated by the VLM. Conceptually, the workflow is very straightforward. Your entire Python application runs locally on your laptop or workstation, while Cyberwave handles the communication layer between your application and the physical robotic hardware. Whenever your application generates an action command, Cyberwave securely routes these commands through the cloud and delivers them to the actual robotic arm in real time. This means you don't need to worry about any low-level networking, hardware communication, or deployment pipelines. Under the hood, the Cyberwave SDK establishes an MQTT connection between the Cyberwave cloud and the robotic arm, allowing all the commands generated by your Python application to be streamed directly to the robot for execution. Now, I have already implemented the complete application code for this project. So let's quickly walk through it together. If you want to follow along, you can clone the repository and sync your environment and digital twin setup locally. We'll cover that step by step in the next section. Now, let's quickly look at the code that drives it from natural language. There are 5 key files and each one does one particular job. Motion.py defines what a motion plan is, plus the executor that runs one on the arm. Planner.py asks Claude or the VLM that you use to produce a motion plan from plain English. This is also the file where we inject our system prompt. Vision.py and voice.py are used as input modalities. So these are the layers that we'll cover later. NLARM controller is the agent loop that wires everything together. So this is the main orchestrator file. We also have a smoke test folder, which is basically one isolated test per dependency for when something breaks. Now, since we're using the Cyberwave SDK, a Claude VLM, and the Mistral Voxtel Mini, we'll need to inject all the particular authentication credentials here, starting from the API key, Twin ID, Environment ID, to the Anthropic API key, the Mistral API key. Now, this particular key line is very important. This is called CW mode, which is basically that every join command we send only animates the 3D twin in the browser with simulation. The physical arm isn't involved yet. We can change it to live when we switch to real robotic arm in live action. Now, let's also go through the other files quickly to understand what the code does. The motion.py file defines what a motion plan is, validates it against a strict schema, clamps every angle to a particular safe range, and ramps moves smoothly instead of snapping. This is the entire vocabulary for the VLM. 6 joints, 4 action types, and some conservative angle limits. That's the entire surface area of the system. A motion plan is nothing but a string and a list of actions. And this is how a motion plan looks like. We've also added functions for validation and clamping to make sure that we do not treat VLM as the only trustable input here. Now that we know what a plan looks like, the planner's job is to make Claude produce one. Here is the system prompt that we are using and giving to our VLM. 3 jobs in this particular prompt. 1. Pin the JSON schema. 2. Tell Claude which joint moves which way. And that's how turn right becomes joint 1 plus 30 degrees. And third, 3 few short examples covering single joint, multi-joint and stop semantics. These examples are doing a lot of work because they show Claude exactly what we expect. And this is our entire Anthropic call. Temperature is set to zero point 0.2 for consistency and max tokens is set to 400 because plans are short. Next, let's quickly understand voice.py. This replaces our input with microphone. Hold space, talk, release. It records an audio file, posts it to Mistral Voxel, and hands a transcript back to the agent loop. The rest of the system has no idea that voice is even involved. We use the Voxtrail Mini Mistral STT model to transcribe our voice into text. And next we have the vision.py. This file owns the camera handle. It opens the webcam at startup, keeps it warm for the whole session, and hands back a base 64 JPG encoded frame on demand. No MQTT, no streaming, direct OpenCV on the laptop. And last we have is the NLARM controller Pi. This is the key orchestrator. It reads config from the environment file, connects to Cyberwave, homes the ARM, and then runs a read plan execute loop. This is the orchestrator and the only file that also imports the Cyberwave SDK. Let's quickly understand that. This constructs the SDK client. It picks up Cyberwave API key from the environment, opens the connection to the platform, and now is ready to publish. This declares which world this client is allowed to influence. In simulation, it only drives the digital twin. In live, it also reaches the physical arm. We change it in the .env file, as we saw earlier. Same code path either way. That's why we can demo the whole stack on the twin first and then flip one environment variable to go live. This looks up an existing SO101 twin by UUID inside a very specific environment and gives us back a robot handle. So the first argument is the twin asset key, basically what kind of twin this is. So the SDK knows the joint schema. And next with the robot UUID, this is the twin's identifier on the platform. And last we wrap this robot in a motion executor and call executor.host, which is executed inside motion.py. And now it's our turn to try this out in our IDE. So let's clone this repo and get started. So I have created a new directory and now I'm just going to clone this repository there. Perfect. So we can see we are here. Let's move over. Let's also open this project here. So we can see Cyberwave Python. Perfect. And now if we go over to the examples, we can see here is the example that we have. So now we have this requirements.txt and we need to install all the dependencies to make sure we can even go ahead. So let's start with that. Let's create a virtual environment first. Perfect. Now we have created a virtual environment to make sure all our work is isolated and whatever dependencies we install stays in that particular Python virtual environment. Now the first thing we're going to go to this particular example. So let's do examples, let's do ls, let's go to this one. And now we're going to install all these requirements. Let's also install the Cyberwave SDK once again. Perfect, just to make sure we have everything. Now we need to authenticate and add all the credentials required for us to make this project work. We need to add specific API keys and tokens required for us to make the Cyberwave SDK call, the Anthropic call, and the Mistral call. If we go over to the .env.example file over here, here is every environment variable you'll need for this project to run. So here are the Cyberwave credentials that we'll need. For the Anthropic and Mistral API key, all you need to do is go over to their platforms and create an API key. The documentation on creating API keys for both these platforms are also in the description box below. First, let's quickly create a copy of this file. Make sure your environment file is always in gitignore and you never commit it on GitHub or on any Git platform. So here is our new .env file. Now let's quickly go and fetch the credentials required for the Cyberwave platform. I'm in the Cyberwave platform in the particular environment that I created earlier. Get the twin UUID and the environment UUID. I can go to the twin, click on the three dots here and copy UUID from here directly. Or I can also click on Python SDK and just copy this snippet, which helps me copy the twin ID and the environment UUID. And for the API key, I need to go over to my profile section, go to API tokens, create a new token, and that's it. Now you can simply copy this API key and the UUIDs and just paste it in your .env and get started. Now I've added all the environment variables here. For the first part, we're going to test this whole thing in simulation. So I have provided the CW mode here as simulation only. And now it's time for us to actually run this. To be able to do that, we'll run the NLARM controller py file. Since we also want it to be voice controlled, we have added another parameter to it, which is voice. So if we add this, then it's going to be a voice operated agent and it's going to take the voice input. So let's try to run this. So if we try to understand what just happened, it established a successful MQTT connection. The mode is simulation since we set it up that way. The VLM planner is Claude Sonnet and the STT model is Voxtel Mini. This is the ARM twin. And these are some examples. So now what we have to do is hold the space bar and see what happens. So let's do that. Wave at the audience. So this is where the Voxtel Mini worked when it transcribed the voice audio into text. And this is the motion plan generated by our VLM. Plan complete. Perfect. But we didn't see it in action, right? Let's also see what happens on the platform in simulation when we try this. So I'm in the simulate mode here. Make sure that you have a keyboard controller assigned in the simulation mode whenever you're using the Python SDK. Now let's go back to our IDE and try it again. Wave at the audience. And it's waving. Okay, so this is our new setup. Now let's try to give a more complex command to see how the action plan is generated and how the robot arm moves in simulation. Move left, take a bow, move right, and then wave at the audience. Now let's see how the action plan gets generated. So the transcribing is done and now it's generating an action plan. So it moved left, it took a bow, it's moving right, and now it's waving at the audience. Now, let's start developing this agent with real SO101 robotic arms. First, here is our hardware setup. We are using a Raspberry Pi 4 as an edge device to connect the robot arms with Cyberwave. Both the arms are connected to the Pi, and then there is a power connection for each arm and the Pi individually as well. The first phase of this process involves connecting the arm robots with Cyberwave. For that, let's SSH into our Raspberry Pi. Once we are in, we'll install the Cyberwave CLI with this command. Next up, we will install the Cyberwave Edge core. We'll have to provide our Cyberwave account credentials and then we are prompted to select the environment and twin. This helps us sync the ARM robots with the Cyberwave environment and the digital twins we created earlier and also establish an MQTT connection between both. Once that's done, we can see that the driver for the ARM is being set up. Next up, we have to perform calibration of the arms. We can see the steps and a visual representation of how to calibrate the arm robot. This is required to ensure all the joints are properly calibrated with their min-max values. Both the arms need to be calibrated separately. Once the calibrations are complete, you can also see the status on the platform and the terminal logs. Next up, in order to control the ARM robot with the SDK, we need to assign a keyboard controller. Let's assign that from here. Now after this controller is set up, we can control the real ARM robot with our keyboard key mappings as specified here. Okay, now we have opened a new terminal and we are in the project directory. We can run the Python application from anywhere, from cloud, from my laptop, from the edge. The Python code or the application will run anywhere. So now we are creating a virtual environment to install the project dependencies from my laptop. We have also installed Cyberwave again just to ensure we have everything we need. Now, a very important change here is that we'll have to change our environment variables file to modify the mode from simulation to live, as now we need this to be operated in real life. Next up, we'll just run this Python NLARM controller file with the voice flag. Okay, perfect. Now let's also see how the robot reacts to this in real life. Let's give another audio instruction to the robot. Move right to a small bow. Plan is generated, and this is how the robot behaves in real life. Let's do another one. Say hello to everyone. Okay, perfect. Let's try another one. Look up and then to the right and wave. Perfect. And we can see how this works. And that's it for this video. All the code examples and documentation is linked in the description box below. I'll see you again with the next one. Thank you and see you later.